They're one of the most iconic clubs in football history. But did you know Manchester United once had to change their name just to survive? Or that they've been relegated more than once? And if you think they're struggling now, just wait till you hear what they've been through. From the ashes of disaster to the heights of global glory, this is the wild, unbelievable journey of Manchester United. And it's nothing like the story you think you know. Before the world knew them as Manchester United, they were Newton Heath, a group of railway workers from the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway Depot, pulling together a football club in 1878 just for the love of the game. Back then, they weren't setting stadiums alight or lifting trophies. Their first official match in 1880? A 6-0 defeat to Bolton's reserve team. Not exactly the kind of debut that hinted at greatness. And by 1894, they'd even been relegated from the first division after losing a playoff to Liverpool. But every giant starts somewhere. And those famous red kits? Nowhere in sight. The original colors were green and gold, a look that fans still wear today as a nod to the roots. The club was scrappy, passionate, and desperately trying to stay afloat. But by 1902, Newton Heath was on the brink, drowning in debt, slapped with a winding-up order, and staring at extinction. That's when a man named Harry Stafford stepped up. He wasn't just a club captain, he was a lifeline. Through sheer determination, he rallied local businessmen, secured investment, and rescued the team from collapse. The deal didn't just save the club, it transformed it. In April 1902, a new name was born, Manchester United Football Club. And with that, a new era was about to begin. With fresh life and a fresh identity, Manchester United wasted no time climbing the ranks. By 1906, they were promoted to the First Division, stepping into English football's top flight. Just 2 years later, they shocked everyone by winning their first league title in 1908. A statement of intent from a club that had nearly vanished just a few seasons earlier. The momentum didn't stop. In 1909, they lifted the FA Cup for the very first time. A gritty 1-0 win that etched their name into football's elite. And then came a move that would shape their legend forever, Old Trafford. In 1910, the club moved into their new stadium, a grand home fitting for a team with growing ambitions. And right on cue, the success continued. In 1911, they clinched their second league title, confirming that Manchester United was no flash in the pan. They were building something bigger. After World War I, Manchester United returned to the pitch, but something was missing. The spark that once pushed them to titles flickered dim. In 1922, the inevitable happened. Relegation from the First Division. Just a few years earlier, they had tasted glory, and now they were scrambling in the Second Division. But football's a game of comebacks. By 1925, they clawed their way back up. A breath of fresh air, but it didn't last long. The late 1920s became a frustrating cycle. Inconsistent performances, financial instability, and dwindling crowds. Hopes would rise with each decent run of form, only to crash again with poor results. The promise of momentum never quite materialized. Then in 1931, the blow landed hard, relegated again. It marked the beginning of a truly turbulent chapter. This was no golden age. These were survival years. The club lacked the direction, resources, and inspiration it once had. And as the 1930s rolled on, success seemed like a distant memory. In 1937, they were relegated once again, slipping out of the First Division. Supporters held on, though, through every grim Saturday. Because for all the club's ups and downs, they believed the story wasn't over yet. And they were right, because the man who'd change everything was just around the corner. In 1945, after the dust of the Second World War settled, Manchester United made a decision that would define their future. They hired Matt Busby, not just a manager, a visionary. Right from the start, Busby brought discipline, structure, and belief. The results spoke volumes. From 1947 to 1949, United finished second in the league 3 straight seasons. Consistency had returned. In 1948, they lifted the FA Cup, their first major trophy in nearly 40 years. Then came 1952. After decades of chasing shadows, Manchester United were league champions once again. The long drought was over, but Busby wasn't done. He built a youthful, fast, fearless team. By 1956 and 1957, they were league champions again, and the world took notice. With an average age of just 22, they were dubbed the Busby Babes, a generation built, not bought. In September 1956, United became the first English club to enter the European Cup. They reached the semi-finals facing the mighty Real Madrid. They lost, but they had arrived. Then, 1958, Munich. A plane crash that shattered everything. 8 players gone. 23 lives lost. The dream was torn apart. After the Munich air disaster, assistant manager Jimmy Murphy stepped in as Matt Busby fought for his life in hospital. Murphy held the shattered team together and remarkably led them to the 1958 FA Cup final. Though they lost to Bolton, it was a powerful show of resilience. That same year, UEFA invited Manchester United to compete in the 1958-59 European Cup, a touching gesture. But the Football League blocked it, sticking to domestic rules. Still, hope lived on. Busby returned, scarred but unshaken. He rebuilt, signing Dennis Law and Pat Curran, and promoted a gifted team from Belfast, George Best. In 1963, United lifted the FA Cup, their first trophy since Munich, a symbol of their recovery. League titles followed in 1965 and 1967, marking a full return to the summit. Then came 1968. At Wembley, United beat Benfica and became the first English club to win the European Cup. 10 years after tragedy, they stood atop Europe. George Best won the Ballon d'Or that year, 2 years after Bobby Charlton had done the same. United didn't just recover, they rose above it all. Matt Busby stepped down in 1969, and with that came a storm of instability. His successor, Wilf McGuinness, couldn't carry the weight. Frank O'Farrell followed, same story. Then came Tommy Docherty, a manager with fire in his belly, but even he couldn't prevent disaster. By 1974, Manchester United were relegated, a stunning fall from grace, especially after losing Charlton, Best and Law. Still, they bounced back the very next season, earning promotion in 1975. In 1977, they shocked Liverpool in the FA Cup final, denying them a treble. But just weeks later, Docherty was sacked, not for poor results, but for having an affair with the physio's wife. Dave Sexton came in next. Steady hands, but no trophies. By 1981, he was gone. Ron Atkinson brought fresh hope, winning FA Cups in 1983 and 1985. But league success remained elusive. In 1986, after a string of poor results, Atkinson was shown the door. A new man was about to walk through it, and he'd change everything. When Sir Alex Ferguson arrived at Old Trafford in 1986, no one expected the era he'd build. The start was rocky. By 1990, he was close to being sacked. But an FA Cup win that year changed his fate in United's future. In 1991, United won the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup and the European Super Cup. In 1992, they added the League Cup and became a founding member of the Premier League. Then in 1993, finally, their first league title in 26 years. A year later came their first domestic double, and in 1996 they did it again, the first English club to do so. 1999 brought eternal glory, a dramatic Champions League final against Bayern Munich, with 2 injury time goals completed the treble, Premier League, FA Cup, and Champions League. Sir Alex was knighted, and United had become a true European giant. They followed with league wins in 2000, 2001, and 2003. A slight dip came mid-decade, but they returned strong. Premier League titles in 2007 and 2008, the Champions League, and the FIFA Club World Cup. Cristiano Ronaldo won the Ballon d'Or in 2008, the last Premier League player to do so. Though United lost Champions League finals to Barcelona in 2009 and 2011, they lifted more league titles. In 2013, they secured a record 20th league win. Ferguson's final season, he retired as the most decorated manager in football history and left behind a colossal legacy to follow. David Moyes was handpicked to succeed Fergie, dubbed the Chosen One. But things unraveled fast. United finished 7th, their worst Premier League result, and missed Europe after 24 years. He was sacked in under a year. Louis van Gaal came with pedigree and won the FA Cup in 2016, but was sacked days later. Then came Jose Mourinho. Trophies returned: Community Shield, EFL Cup, and Europa League in 2017. Despite a second-place finish in 2018, internal conflicts led to his exit. Club legend Ole Gunnar Solskjaer brought hope and attacking flair. A thrilling PSG win in 2019 lifted spirits, but major silverware eluded him. A Europa League final loss in 2021 and a slump led to his dismissal. Ralf Rangnick stepped in briefly, a forgettable stint. Then Erik ten Hag took over in 2022, winning the Carabao Cup in 2023 and beginning a steady rebuild. With players like Bruno Fernandes, Rasmus Højlund, and Alejandro Garnacho stepping up, the foundation looked promising. Ten Hag was sacked in October 2024, and now as of 2025, the baton has passed to Ruben Amorim, the new man in charge, bringing fresh energy and tactical sharpness. Could this be the start of a new chapter? So from green and gold roots to European triumphs, from tragedy to tenacity, Manchester United's legacy is built on grit, glory, and greatness. And in 2025, their story is still unfolding. Drop your favorite United moment in the comments and hit subscribe for more epic football journeys.